I'm wondering what you got for me. Egyptian cotton is out to be my lady only. I'm wondering what you got for me. Egyptian cotton is out to be my lady only. I asked you for the time. You got the damn right.
What?
Everything you do gives me butterflies. I asked you for the time. You got the damn right. Everything you do gives me butterflies. I'm wondering what you got for me. Egyptian cotton is out to be my lady only. I'm wondering what you got for me. Egyptian cotton is out to be my lady only.
What? for this here thing to turn out right. So from the start, let's get this one thing clear. You should know you're looking at a self-made woman. You should know I got nothing for free in this life. None of us can know what's coming. So if you wanna be with me, baby, can't you see? You gotta make room for a self-made woman like me. You gotta make room for a self-made woman like me. Gotta make room for a self-made woman. Gotta get out the floor. Know you're looking at a self-made woman. I don't expect you to lie down flat, not unless you really want. I'm not after a new doormat or a pretty thing to flaunt. So if you got plans for us tonight, for this here thing to turn out right, from the start, let's get this one thing clear. You should know you're looking at a self-made woman. You should know I got nothing for free. Oh, in this life, none of us can know what's coming. So if you wanna be with, 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 wanna be a self-made woman like me. Gotta make room for a self-made woman like me. Gotta make room for a self-made woman. Gotta get out the floor. Know you're looking at a self-made woman.
I've been wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind. Yeah, so lost, where do I go? I was in the chase, caught a flat on road. It was all love, X no O. I was feeling rich, but we turned out broke. Guess I let my feelings take control. Guess I let my demon take the wheel. Used to think that we be growing old. I can't believe that it was real. It was back in late December when I did. I just wish I could forgive. Cause I hate how much I love it, or I hate how I just love to catch a feel. Yeah, I've been wasting my time. I don't know why I can't get you out my mind. If I find a way to get it, when I do it, I can live it and forget it. Cause I hate how much I love you, or I hate how you just put me in my feelings.
finally take the wheel. Used to think that we'd be growing old. Now I can't.
If you want, yeah, you can. Oh, you're definitely in the shot.
contact. Only thing showing this late be the freak show. Call for your cum, I be checking through the peephole. Everything closed this late, but your contact. Here to catch a vibe, you might catch a little contact. Baby, live it up, you know the work week coming. Turn it into profit, so the hurt means something. Shine on the competition, shawty, that's easy. Cupid on the collar, so the next day freezy. Fresh white tee, ain't good, no stains. Swinging in the rental, got it hogging both lanes. Quarantine clean, but the streets still dirty. Round to the 9 if it's past 8:30. I been on my grind like I'm tryna get sharp. It ain't come with keys, all I did is hit start. I ain't even planning, but a nigga hit still. Car full of baddies, got me playing fifth wheel. Juke jammer, baby, got the party going up. I do what I wanna, I don't plan on growing up. See you slamming Henny and don't plan on slowing up. Call your boss and tell him you don't plan on showing up. Lungs full of gas with a handful of goals. Boys in a band, get a band for the shows. Stack it up tall till I stand on my toes. Come and get your man, he'll stand for the hoes. I been on M's, got him hopping on D. Tell the bartender, get it popping on me. Know they see the vibe and I came up quick. See around the city on the same old shit. I been really working and it's steady, got me buzzing. I been getting money, now I'm everybody cousin. Waffle House run and it's back to the bed. Hit it from the back, pulling tracks from your head. Only thing showing this late be the freak show. Call for your cum, I be checking through the peephole. Everything closed this late, but your contacts. Here to catch a vibe, you might catch a little contact. Only thing showing this late be the freak show.
finna jump for the shit. All top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the fields. Say vivid for the ears, I know that's how they like it. Yeah, I fantasize, tell me that it's real when it's all said and done. I said it how I feel it, I let them hear the fear of a passive aggressive. Angry black man with a passion, steady grip when I shoot to the stars with a full clip. Trying line with a loose leaf, then I proofread till I lose sleep. Couldn't handle the truth in your bed with the writing. Love at first sight shit, art over hype shit. Need a sound bite for the time capsule. Press play, they pause time for a bit. Smitten, I admit it, couldn't kick it, I'm in love with the fine.
I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. Mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, mine, yeah, mine, yeah, mine, yeah. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, mine, yeah. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you.
Det var länge sedan vi sågs.
I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. Mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, mine, mine, yeah, mine, yeah, mine, yeah. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, mine, yeah. I just wanna make you. 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 Mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, mine, mine, yeah, mine, yeah, mine, yeah. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, mine, yeah. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. Make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you mine, 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 mine. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, mine, yeah, mine, yeah, yeah. I just wanna make you mine, yeah, yeah. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you.
väg hem. Det var mörkt och dimmigt. Jag gick förbi kyrkan och jag kände mig iakttagen. Inte på dig. Jag försökte skicka tankar till dig. Jag försökte ringa dig. Men du svarade inte. Så jag fortsatte gå. Det var länge sedan vi såg. Fast då litade jag dig inte. Hur mår du? Jag tänkte på dig. Jag försökte skicka tankar till dig. Jag försökte ringa dig.
I've been wasting my time.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the
I'll be on my way now. You just give me a...
Still got crack. Yeah. Still got crack. Still got crack. Still got crack. Yeah.
me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake. To sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake. Now I lay me down to sleep.
Huh?
I'll listen some more. Get it longer out.
And if you want to make a gift with that, that's gift in every way. Only if I don't know. Would make yeah, so it's so at first you have to give each channel. If you don't, if for free you use the channel, 3 or 4 years ago, like 6 months ago.
Let's go. Let's go.
Up to 6.
And then I'll do 7, 8, 9.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
Belly Dara, I'm gonna fix this camera, bro.
Call Earth's crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more. Even in the
And then how do you want us to kind of signal you next slide?
Can we just say it?
Yeah.
Do we? I really.
I'll try to pay attention. I'll do my best to pay attention. So.
Hold up now.
Last time I'm like texting them, like, yo, take this. You know,
There's so much shit going on.
Yo,
I
I
know.
know, yeah. That's why I was like, man, I don't want to yell it out, but all right.
Thank you. So funny thing, I'm allergic to hair dye, right? So good thing I have
Hair
a
dye?
yeah. Very
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I don't have a reaction. So I was like, oh my God, I gotta take it. Otherwise, my entire face, everything will swell up. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's pretty serious. Yeah. Yep. That's the reason why I
We
don't
look
have
like different
tattoos
people.
either.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
That's
scared.
crazy.
I did a little test patch, nothing happened. That's
Oh,
my
wow.
only tattoo I have right there.
Oh, crazy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you do that again?
Because I wanted to see
If you're allergic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you guys want the 10x logo like something?
That's
See it.
we can't like put it to the this way or that
Oh,
way.
yeah, my bad.
No, the other way. I'm sorry, I was opposite you. No, see, so because it needs to be kind of in with a. No, that's not gonna work. Yeah.
You want a black background?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I have the 10x
No,
in different colors, by the way.
No, I think we should stay in the color in the same color. What is your? Well, you have black. And,
I have 10x, everything in black.
No, let's see. Because it's opposite. Right? Yeah, see. But did they say anything about the loan doc, Cynthia? Nothing yet?
Yeah, that won't work.
Yeah.
So you said on the hub I go search business cards?
Mm-hmm.
Templates?
Mm-hmm. It might be under marketing department.
Yeah. They're very strict too.
Oh,
They'll
that's
kick that
good,
shit
dude.
back.
Yeah.
You said there's
I put it to the left.
They'll QA it
Yeah.
and they'll kick it back. They have a very specific format.
Oh, okay.
I still haven't got mine in order. I did like 3 revisions and
They've been kicking yours back. Sheesh.
And then I could just
Go into the orientation guide at 8 p.m.
Orientation.
Oh, you can do a digital business card. Here, I'll send it to you. I found it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Maybe I can just.
look good right there? No, just
Yeah. That's good.
There's two of them. There's one on the left corner and there's one on the bottom.
Table one looks good, I think. What is it?
Yeah, I think just one, man. I would take the top left one out.
Yeah, and make the
And just
bottom
leave
one a
the-
little bit bigger, maybe, if you can. Okay, here's the link. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Ignore that. Just delete that. Yeah, 'cause you don't want that. That's not what you want. Copy.
Oh, you guys want to put your phones on silent?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just sent you the link. SharePoint. And then you can click at the top. Submit for approval, order business cards.
You got your flight to Miami yet?
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time in my life that I've ever bought something in advance like that.
And you know, and I booked,
that's not
you know, I booked the wrong day back. I booked for Monday. I gotta change it for Sunday.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because y'all taking me. Yeah. Did you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Just
know.
as long
As long as you know.
we're on the same flight. I don't know why I booked it. I don't know what I was thinking. I have got to change that today. I've been trying to change it 3 times.
Yeah, we're gonna stay till Wednesday.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Disney World.
Oh, you might as well.
I'm taking all the kids, so I'm like, well, fuck, I'm gonna pay that much. I might as well
Yeah.
make a vacation out of it.
Absolutely.
The teachers aren't too happy.
Like if Justin had to work, man, I would have just
Wait,
I would have gone to Orlando.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Chula Vista, we're in school. We started on Wednesday.
Wait, who?
Yeah.
Wait, who? What?
Chula Vista.
You are kidding me.
No, they're year round. They go all the time.
What?
And when you go in, they're like, you have to do a contract, right? We will do homework. You have to keep them at least 3 days, do a contract with them, saying you're going to bring it back. And then they're like, this year they restricted. The last time we did it for Mexico, they're like, you can do 14 days. Now they're like, hey, we're going to give you max 10 business days, and like then we're going to file truancy 1 year.
Wow,
Better
that
do
makes
your homework, too.
so much more sense because
Yeah.
I had like someone say, "We got to get the kids back in school. They're down there,"
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, "That didn't make any sense.
No,
What
they're
are
in
you
school.
talking about?"
Back to school sales don't even start yet. Look, they're in school.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, we have so many vacation days. There's no need to take vacations in the middle of the school semester. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, they're strict.
Oof.
They want that money.
Jeez. And this is public school?
Public school? They treat it like private. They treat you like you're private school.
I'm not mad though.
Yeah,
I'm
that's why
low-key
they got
not
the 9. That's why they
mad.
got the 9 out of 10.
Right,
You know?
and that's also why y'all paying over 2% for them damn property taxes.
Absolutely. Look,
That school
they get free
levy,
laptops. They get
levy,
fucking
right.
agendas every kid.
Oh yeah, my man.
Ooh. Yeah. All right.
So, yo, Perez, on that slide, man, that goes I think slide 6.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So maybe we can turn off the transitions on those. Or so yeah, that one. And then I think I would just turn off all transitions.
All right, that's gonna take me some time now.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, I had to go one by one apparently.
Okay, no, it's all good then.
Yeah, I'm on Google.
It's okay if you can just click
yeah.
them.
So
click
just
them
know,
quick.
like, once we get to it and you see
Just
that there's a
click 'em.
transition, just
Click
like
them quick.
just get to it. I'm not going to tell you to hit the transitions, or
But just know
you know what I
until
mean?
we
Like,
have them all filled in.
I'll queue for the next slide, but for the transitions, just put it out there because, as we know, like the slides that we're using now, they're going to look different. We just got to get the material out for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take it one by one.
It's okay. We can just do it. Just activate them. We're fine. Yeah.
Because you can change the slide deck later, right?
Yeah, this stuff. I mean,
Okay, perfect.
This is just a rough draft right now.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I need to cancel that too. I pay for so much stuff that I don't even use. This is crazy.
Can we shut that door right there too, please? Yeah. My terrace is gonna. My little mini terrace is gonna. Never know. He's unpredictable.
I think they were trying to hear. Yeah, for the time.
Oh, we want to make sure.
Oh, you guys trying to listen? Oh, my bad.
Why don't you come sit behind them?
There is a link
Yeah,
too.
come sit.
If some people want to join in, there's a private link right now. If anyone wants to use that.
No, we're just gonna do this video. We'll just record
It's already
this.
live right now.
Oh, is it live where?
Yeah, I'm recording everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about YouTube.
Yeah, so you guys just sit on. Yeah, just take those chairs and sit down behind him.
Say hi to America. Say hi.
You said what?
I said say hi to America.
Right. Oh no, you're fine there. Yeah, you're good.
Some content right here. Yeah.
Right, look, you can pass you on my phone. Look. Yeah. You know, send it to me.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. You can be our content.
Oh, my eyeballs.
Oh, maybe I should
Look
just
at Bro, I'm looking.
Look at surprise.
My eyes look so small. Look, when you look in the video, they look all tiny.
They do look a little beady. I never
Right.
noticed that.
I know. People tell me this shit all the time.
Look at my face. Look at me.
Girl.
Where have they always been beady? Is that
Yeah.
what they have? Oh, I never noticed. Okay.
Because like they used to say that like my dad was the laundromat guy. So in Brazil's incredibly racist.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I've been there.
So like, which ironically, man, like the majority of of cleaners are owned by Asians in Brazil. Right? Brazil, there's like outside of Tokyo, Sao Paulo has the most amount of Japanese people outside of Tokyo. Like when you look at like
where they are.
What's it called? The density or whatever.
Oh, per capita.
Yeah, the per capita. So like Sao Paulo has like the most amount of Japanese outside of Tokyo.
That's crazy.
And like every cleaners is owned by someone that's Japanese. So like the running joke was like, his dad is a cleaner. You know what I mean? Because I'm fucking, my eyes are little.
And you would appreciate this. So when I was talking to Carrie Ann, I saw something that came across my Instagram, and it was an Asian Jamaican. Yes. Yeah, and there's a lot. She said there is a huge Asian population in Jamaica. I did not know.
Oh,
and so
shit.
then she sent me videos of
how the way they sound.
Yeah, they speak Jamaican.
Belize too. Where
Yeah.
my family's from in Belize. Yeah, same thing.
I was like,
yeah, they're everywhere.
That tripped me out because.
They're in Paraguay too. A lot of Asians.
Oh really?
Yeah.
They
See,
speak Spanish.
Yep. in Belize too. Yeah, they speak Spanish in Belize.
She owns us. It's like we speak.
I was like, the Jamaican had me. I can do Spanish because like there's like a lot of the when I was going to get my cabinets for my remodel for my house.
Yeah, they are.
A lot of Asian people own the cabinet stores,
And all the
they're
workers.
speaking and then they're speking Spanish.
Yep.
Like
Like
I don't know nothing English. That's all I know. And I'm like fluent, no like all the right sounds.
Right,
and I was
right. So when you hear them speak Jamaican or Belize,
but the Jamaican that just tripped me out. I was like, oh. Because one of Carrie Ann's best friends growing up was Asian.
Oh, okay.
So then she sent me all the videos, and then I go on my deep dive of
Right, you start digging.
Yeah. I was like, wow, the things you never think about. Like, why not, right? But you just never think about it.
Yeah.
And so that I was like, oh my gosh, that's funny.
Do we have anybody in North Carolina? LOs?
No, I took the class. I got to fill out my application. I have to do that this weekend too. I'm gonna do that this weekend. But we do. We have there's a guy that Carrie Ann uses for the.
You wanted to refer the guy she always talks about, Jeff?
But I'm tired of that, so we gotta.
Yeah. She said something's wrong with that.
Oh my god. Oh, you don't want to see my boomerangs? That was.
You're actually good at boomerangs.
That was me though when I couldn't. Yes, it's updated. Praise the Lord. License is updated. Praise Jesus.
Oh, they finished it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I needed to know. Okay, so I just need for them to.
Let's kick this pig.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man, that you talking about that Lisa Copeland. I just started following her on Instagram recently.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
I don't know where I know her from. As soon as I saw her on the downline thing, I was like, oh, I know her.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I've seen her on TV.
Oh, I like that though. I like that confetti. We got to do that one.
Mm-hmm. For
We
real.
like the confetti.
So
I'm so waiting for him to fix his camera, bro. Like, put a filter on this bad boy. Shit. For the midsection filter, you know?
Right. I make money if you invent that shit.
For real, dog. Like, if there's a fucking filter that makes you look old as fuck,
Absolutely.
why is there a filter to make me look skinny as fuck?
Right.
They have those. They have an app that gives you what you need.
Oh,
You know what I will say? Listen,
Not that I use it. I'm not.
I'm with
Right.
It like records you and like you can move so that way you know people like
Right.
the video. I didn't know.
It does it all.
Mhm.
Damn. That makes sense though, because I had one at this TC at my first firm. Like we take photos, videos together. So yo, send it to me first, and then she sends me to edit it, and she looks totally different. I'm like, I'm like, damn. Sasha, look at this. Yo, she's like, yo, don't post me without me seeing it. I'm like, okay, gotcha. Should edit me.
Betsy's good at that too.
Oh yeah,
For real,
Betsy's
man.
a pro.
I saw her
She
like.
is the queen.
Yo, and she knows how to move her. Yeah, she knows
And
her
she's
angles.
quick with, and she knows her angles.
Yes,
I mean,
and she watches every camera in the room. Everywhere we've been, whether it be a TV studio or a brief conference, whatever, she finds the cameras and she's in front of it.
I love
So she went to the Netflix fucking filming for what was it? Selling Sunset. So they invited me, so I invited the team, and they went up there, man, to LA, and Betsy was like in front of the camera. Right?
Oh shit!
So Maya was like, "Yo, we were just talking. All of a sudden, like Betsy just freezes. Like there's these angles. I was just like, is there a fucking camera behind me? Like he's like, yeah. So
like
yeah.
she knows.
She knows, dude. It's weird.
I love it. I need to practice.
She was like taking pictures, and I heard us like, she needs a little bit more butt. And I was like, how the fuck you do that? Like,
zoop, zoop, zoop.
Yeah.
All right, we ready?
We're ready.
You want to scoot that desk like this a little bit? Or that table?
This one? The main one?
This way? Alright, very good.
we're symmetrical.
Lights, camera, action.
You're ready.
Yep.
Just whatever video y'all take, just send it. We can cut it, do our thing. Appreciate you.
Yeah, just just do it
Yeah,
for
do
me.
the edits.
Yeah, just do it for me so I can post it.
So there's a link to this video. You're gonna have to skip for 2 hours.
Oh damn, you were
So
filming all the time.
I've been on already on the live stream, but you can go on the YouTube. It's unlisted right now, so like whoever has a link can view it.
Okay.
So you can view this after we're done, and then you can click whatever you guys want.
Oh, right.
Yep.
If I knew how to do that. It seems so. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, well, how do I do that?
Wish I would have known that before I told my cleaner story.
Right. Thank you.
Well, I helped you. I mean,
There are no racist people in Brazil at all.
Right.
No, they are. I was there.
No, there is not.
They are. That was a very interesting. I mean, I'm telling you,
It's different.
Man, those what do you call them, favelas are crazy.
Favelas.
Oh
yeah.
That's why I don't. That's why I haven't taken like jazz and shit. I want to go. Like motherfucker, Like,
bro, have you ever climbed the mount to the Christ Redeemer?
Yeah.
So I did it from the bottom. I didn't know. My driver was like, brother, we don't do that. Like your counterparts are with you. The other three, like, yeah, they do that, not us. Like, and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna do it, bro. I ain't never been so fucking terrified in my life, man. Like, we got separated. It was like real monkeys. And, you know what I'm saying? And then
in the Amazon.
And you can hear the shooting, and then they're by favela, like right next to me. Like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah. I was on Snapchat like, yo, I'm done. I'm dying. So just like,
Right, these are
my family. Straight up, bro, I thought I was done.
SOS.
Straight up, yeah. We was out there on a military mission. Like, I was like, oh, I'm done, bro. They're going to take me out. Yeah.
Yeah, man, like, they don't care.
They
There's
don't,
like...
We had a really good time.
I got my watch jacked.
I got
like middle of the day, in the middle, daylight.
Yeah,
like
they'll
maybe
walk
like
right behind. Yeah,
1 p.m. or something. Like
Really?
you know what I mean? Out of traffic, like gridlock traffic.
Yeah,
and at gunpoint. For a fossil, dog.
Yeah, fossil.
That was $100.
That's boot camp special.
I was like, woo!
Next special, maybe.
Apparently, so did they. You know what
absolutely.
I mean? At gunpoint, man, revolver.
Yeah, they're crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm
we
like,
didn't have those experiences when I was there.
I don't want to go to
Although I did see
you stayed on the strip. Like,
maybe that's what we did.
You saw the little lines.
I was on an education mission.
Yeah.
But we had a good time. Clubs were.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Kashasa, me and the Kashasa were best friends until we weren't.
It was a lot of dogs. You were out there around the same time as us. Yeah.
We were not.
Yeah. You guys were there for a week? You and Sasha and the ship?
Yeah.
I was there for like 34 days.
Ooh.
No, 45 days, yeah.
Popcorn though?
Yo, I had a local girlfriend and everything.
That
was for me and Sasha together.
Just a little pop-up thing, like park. So good.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That was one of the best. But I got pickpocketed at the
Absolutely.
What are we doing?
Yo, they at the beach working out. I'm like,
yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Rio
But
de
we also
Janeiro?
stayed. We were in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, I was living out there at the Marriott Hotel.
Belo Horizonte.
One day I went to breakfast. The Fourth Fleet Commander, the Admiral, was there with his aides. The supple from the ship was there. And everybody stayed in my hotel. And they're like,
I would definitely go back to the Amazon. That was a great time.
I was like, oh, this is Sheila.
I like wildlife.
Yeah, I was on. Yo, she's a local. That's my homegirl. And she ended up being our tour guide.
Like at night.
Yeah, we're both Scorpios though, so that didn't work out. So want to choke the hell out of her. We like each other for 10 days. But we stayed together all 34 or 45. We had Thanksgiving together.
Because you still have a lot of the native people that still live. And they live off the.
Y'all pulled it right before Thanksgiving.
So we went up
and
went
to Fogo de Chão.
Visited with them. They make whatever they to get money and stuff. So it was cool. And man, Skoll, the beer.
Yo, that's all they have. You can make your own.
They would. If you left a drink here, these little colorful monkeys would come and just grab your drink and drink it like humans. It was the wildest.
Connie, you got an extra copy of your business card? I
have not done my business cards for APM yet because I was waiting to do everything all at once because I have a dual-sided card. One was with Remax, the other one was with MMG. Before, and I just never changed it, to be honest. Not yet.
So it has to have this APM.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you can add our logo on there as well.
The energy.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Brazil, man. So a girl told me to take food to go. The girl I was with locally there, she's like, "Hey, take the food to go." I'm like, "I don't want this shit." Like, she's not gonna take it. So it was wild because T-bone steaks were more expensive than filet mignon. I thought that was fucking weird. So I took it and I gave it to her. She's like, yo, give it to that guy. I'm like, you don't look homeless to me. He's like, local dude. She's like, nah, give it to him. So I gave it to him. He's like, praying, saying his language. And I knew a little bit of Portuguese. I was like, oh, yeah, no problem. And I walked on, like I said, a week later, bro, I'm walking down the street. We had beers. And she's like, yo, let's go. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She's like, let's go. I was like, why? And she's like, let's go. We were walking down the street, and I guess these guys were following me. And she's like, yo, they're about to rob you. Just walk faster and just go. Like, she already knew. Oh, yeah. She's from the hood. So we were walking, and then all of a sudden the guy I gave the food to, he was like, oh, and his boys, she said, turn around. I turned around, the dudes are walking off, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I said, bro, every time I ate from then on, bro, I got 3 extra meals. Everybody eats a fucking meal, dog. Right, you straight up, and I own those streets within the.
Paid your security.
Absolutely, bro. That shit.
People underestimate this stuff, man. That in Brazil goes a long way, man. Like that's why Brazil, it's literally a place where, like, if you turn down the wrong street, you are fucked. Because like the gangs that they'll have, right? It's called quadrilla, right? But they're like literally like neighborhood gangs.
Then they stay in the little.
But I mean, I'm talking about like they set up checkpoints and stuff like down the street. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like if you turn, like, you're not coming into this neighborhood if you're not from there,
right?
And if you're not, everything that you have there is there. It's like, all right, no, like you can't come in here.
Made that very
By
clear.
the way,
we had our navigation.
Like all that stuff that you have there, it's ours now. So give it here, turn around.
Well, I had a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was otherwise beautiful place. Stay along the beach.
Listen, I got some amazing shoes, Boots leather. They have awesome leather. Yes.
Boots, you gotta find somebody local. Look. I forgot what website I found her on, boy, but I was so happy.
Almost 20 years ago. I just got rid of them a couple of years ago because it was just so good. And I couldn't speak. I was just. That was my language. But somehow, the shopping was good. That's what I'll say.
We ready?
Are we ready? Okay, let's go. We can start anytime?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You're going to take us back to the...
9, 8.
Are you going to take us back to the screen where you have your slides?
You want the slides already? Oh, okay.
Well, unless...
Introduction. I was like, hey, what's up, guys? Blah, blah, blah. And then,
you want to do that now?
Yeah, and then the next thing would be like, all right, guys, let's start.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, okay, got it. Okay. Cool. All right.
Cool.
All right.
And we're smiling.
Yes, and
right.
All right. Well, we are getting ready to get started. Thank you guys for your patience. We're super excited to share this information with you. I have both of my counterparts who are just, experts in the game. They've been in real estate. Both of them are active. Well, we have one retired now. Yay. Bruno Nascimento. And we still have our active duty chief.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Anthony Renew. And my name is Constance Carlisle, and we're all in real estate. I'm a real estate mortgage broker. And so we're here to share the information about how you become a master using your VA loan benefit. Would you like to introduce yourself, Bruno?
Yeah, most definitely. But I think we're going to get to the point there that we're going to go into the intro slides with our pictures so you guys know who it is that we are. And then we have these little bullets underneath. So, if we have the little bullets, then we're official, right? So, so I think we can probably just switch over to that one there.
Okay.
And then we can, let's hit the very first one, which I think is it's you, which you already hit, and then it goes to Anthony Renew.
Let's do it.
Oh, I guess first, before we get started, I do want to give you guys a little bit of history on why we do what we do. We know we've been doing this educating service members, both veterans and active duty, since about 2007. We really thought that there was a need because the VA community, veteran community, was underserved in utilizing their VA home loan benefit, which is an amazing benefit, not only to be able to use your tax-free dollars, your VAH, which we'll definitely go into detail in our presentation, but to also be able to get into a home with 0% down. So because of that, we've been educating, from base to base over the years. And so hopefully you guys enjoy the information. We'll have an opportunity for you to use the chat if you have any questions. We would like to try to hold the questions to the end, but if something comes up urgent, we'll try to answer the question, as we go through the process. And then we'll also give you guys an opportunity to set up some one-on-ones with us if you have a very specific circumstance you would like to review with us. Okay? Awesome. All right, let's get into it.
All right. So I'm Anthony Renew. I'm a realtor and mortgage loan officer here in California. Real estate for California, and I do loans everywhere. So I've been doing real estate and loans while serving on active duty. I'm wrapping up my active duty time as a Navy chief. Hoo-yah, as they mentioned. Go Navy. Be Marines. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so, here to help out any way I can. And we're going to give you a lot of good bullet points today that, all of us personally have been through as we went through the process. We've been in your shoes. So looking forward to educating you on this process.
Good deal, guys. So my name is Bruno, as you heard before. I am a recently retired veteran, representing the Marine Corps. Hoorah, Semper Fidelis, right? And you know that I'm a Marine because you're going to see me drinking water from this jug over here. So that's how you know that I'm a real Marine. I am a real estate professional. I am a real estate agent, real estate investor, and everything else. And I do all the things related to real estate. But that is going to be us going into this very next slide right here. And we are going to talk to you guys a little bit about how it is that we do what it is that we do, okay? So this is the thing that I want you guys to take away. We don't have the privilege of telling you guys things that aren't factual, right? Because as you're sitting there behind your computer, right, on your other hand, you have your cell phone. So anything that we tell you, you guys are able to fact check us on the spot, okay? So because we can't do that, everything that I'm going to tell you is going to be live, and it's going to be stuff that you can Google and fact check us, right? So for example, this picture that you're looking at right here, this is actually a property that I purchased myself back in 2016. Now, I want you guys to kind of go back a little bit. So you heard that I did 20 years in the Marine Corps, right? 20 years in 6 days. But it's not like I was counting my time or anything like that, right? Now, so back in 2009, I was a sergeant and I was deployed to Afghanistan. So while I was in Afghanistan, I was able to re-enlist in the Marine Corps for an additional 4 years. Okay, at the time, this was the height of Operation Enduring Freedom. People were not staying in because of the op tempo that we had and how much we were deploying. So they were urging people to stay in the Marine Corps. So they offered me a bonus. Okay, so it was like almost $90,000. But hey, it's one of those Uncle Sam giveth, but then Uncle Sam taketh, right? So after everything was said and done, I made approximately about $72,000, okay? Now, what I would ask you is, what would you do with $72,000? Probably a good amount of stuff. While it seems like it's a lot of money, and it is, okay, let me tell you what went behind that $72,000, okay? So over the next 4 years after I re-enlisted, I was deployed. Again, mind you, I was in country, right? But then I was deployed an additional 3 times. And of those 3 deployments, one of them was for 11 months. Okay, so there was a lot of time that even though I re-enlisted, I was away from home, I was away from my family, I was away from kids. So, you're talking about the ultimate sacrifice that you're making, right? So it was $72,000, and while it's a good amount of money, there was a lot of effort behind earning that bonus that I received, okay? Now we're gonna fast forward all the way to 2016. So in 2016, I purchased a property, which is that one that you see there on Beacon Court right here in Vista, right? About 15 minutes away from where the office is currently located now. I paid $466,000 for that property, right? It's crazy to think about how much it is that I paid for it back then, okay? But $466,000 is what I paid for it. Then 2 years later, right, and really it was 2 years and 2 months to be exact, right? And when we get to the very next slide, I'm going to tell you why it was that I made sure for it to be 2 years and 2 months, right? I went and I sold that property. I sold it for $540,000, okay? Now, all in all, when you're looking at, that's about a $74,000 profit that I made. I didn't have to pay taxes on it. Okay, and as you can see right there in the middle of the screen, okay, that is a screenshot of public record that shows my name. It shows the date of those transactions from when I purchased it and when I actually sold it. So that was a 16% increase, right, from when I purchased to when I sold. So I made $74,000, didn't have to pay any taxes on it. Now let's compare that to the $72,000 that I made in 2009. So from that 2016 to the 2018 period, the only thing that I had to do, I had to wake up, brush my teeth, go to work, come back, and then do the same thing all over again for those 24 months that I own the property. Okay, so just to kind of put things into perspective, right? This is why you should listen to what it is that we're telling you, because there are ways for you to come across a good amount of money, right? For you to then, create generational wealth, okay? Because it is incredibly difficult for you to save your way to $74,000 without needing to make extensive sacrifices. Okay. Now, the very next slide, as we transition to it now, I'm going to show you guys a few things. Okay. As we talk about this, what makes us different than everybody else is that I want you, the people that are watching, okay, is I want you guys to be investors the same way that the three of us here are. So, y'all, just as I mentioned, nothing that you guys are seeing are things that we are not doing ourselves. So yes, we are professionals. Yes, we are trained. Yes, we have the education, the credentials to back up the things that that we're telling you that we do. But most importantly, we bring you the experience behind what it is we're telling you. Okay. Now, since we're going to be talking about these things, I need you to keep up with us. Okay. There are two words that they make me feel warm and cozy and snuggling inside. Okay, it's equity and appreciation. So I need you to understand what equity is and what appreciation is. Okay, equity is going to be what the mortgage balance is. Okay, so in this case, remember I bought it for $466. Throughout the 2 years, I was making my payments, meaning that what I owed for the property was going down. Okay, but the property value actually went up. So whatever it is that I owe on the property and whatever it is that the property is worth, right, so the value of it, all that in between, that, my friends, is called equity. Okay. The next thing is appreciation, which kind of goes hand in hand. So because when I purchased that property for $466 and I was able to sell it for $540, that means that the property appreciated over time. So that's what caused the value to go up. Okay. Again, incredibly important information, not to insult anybody's intelligence, but what we're doing is setting that foundation so that as we start talking about these things and we touch on the benefits of purchasing real estate, owning real estate, right, building equity, letting your property appreciate, now you understand why it is that we do what we do. Okay, now the very next slide, right, as we transition to it, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how to make your money work for you, okay? So let's just imagine, okay, hypothetically speaking, that you lived in a place and then you made payments on that place and that place didn't belong to you. I'm sure we've all heard about, this concept, right, known as renting, okay? You as a renter, you are not going to get any of the benefits that we mentioned on the previous slide, the equity and the appreciation, okay? Again, numbers don't lie. This is the thing that should really wake you up, right? I showed you how it is that we were able to make a significant amount of money by just owning the property, living in it, brushing our teeth and going to work, right? And now I'm going to show you how it is that when you look at the numbers and you take into consideration what it is that you're doing with your money as you pay somebody else to live in their home and they're getting the equity, they're reaping the benefits of the appreciation, right? What you see in front of you, okay, is, so the numbers in black is ultimately going to be amounts that people are paying per rent. And again, this is, it's all going to, vary and where you are geographically, it will have definitely the different impacts on how much you're being paid and things like that. But just stick with me because what I really want you to take away is the concept behind what I'm telling you. That number in black is going to show you what it is that is being paid per month. Now the number in red, and again, we all know that red is alarming, right? Red is the thing that, makes us stop in our tracks, right? The number in red is what I want you guys to focus on because in a matter of 3 years, that is how much you will have paid to bring somebody's mortgage down by. So that right there, that number in red is what you've paid to help somebody else appreciate and build their equity. Okay, those are the things that I want you guys to start taking away, and the concept behind why real estate is so important and how much easier it is for you to make your way to the top financially than trying to save your way to the top. As we go to the next slide, okay. So, and we're talking about, previously, if you were an active duty service member, right, then you're familiar with basic allowance for housing entitlement, which is money that the government gives you for you to rent, or really just to provide a shelter for you and your family. Okay, now it's your choice on what it is that you want to do, whether you apply that money towards a mortgage or towards paying somebody else's mortgage. But make no mistake about it, a mortgage is getting paid by you. It's just going to be about where is that money going to be going towards. Is it towards bringing down your debt or towards somebody else's debt? Okay. Now, what we're going to do for you guys today is we're going to bust all sorts of myths. Okay, because a lot of people don't know. Yeah. So what's crazy is that by the time that you guys finish this little presentation that we got, you guys are going to know more about the VA home loan benefit than a lot of our peers, of our real estate professionals. Yeah. Because again, what I want you to understand is, okay, the community that we're in. Okay, I want you to understand that the people that are talking to you. You just heard from me. I am a retired Marine after 20 years. Right, Chief over there is about to retire. Connie, right, military spouse. So she's been around the military community, the military lifestyle, right? And everything that we're telling you is from firsthand experience. So I tell you, between 1% to 3% of the American population have served in the U.S. forces, okay, in the armed forces. Now, the bulk of real estate professionals are going to focus their efforts towards that 97% of people to base their business off of, because they want to service the majority. Not a lot of people are focusing on that 1% to 3%. Okay, we are. Okay, so with that, I'm going to bust a couple of myths that a lot of people don't really know, just because of misinformation that goes around, people not really having these conversations that we're having with you, right? A lot of people think that there is a limit to the VA benefit, right? The VA home loan benefit. And there used to be, but not anymore, okay? So as of January 1st, 2020, okay, it was passed that there is no longer a cap when you're looking at using your VA home loan for the first time, okay? And for the first time, I use that loosely, stick with me, and then as we move along, you kind of understand what I mean about when I say first time.
But now, Bruno, before I don't want to interrupt you, but before you move forward, can we talk about the BAH, and is that money taxed?
That is not taxed. So if you are an active duty service member, you are getting the money from the government, but you're not paying any sort of tax on that at all.
Absolutely. So I think that's really important to recognize that you are receiving money for housing. And so that's going to go, like Bruno was saying, somewhere. It's going to either go to your landlord, or it can go to an investment. And so that's why it's really, I think, important to understand that there's a huge benefit as active duty, because now that's not coming out of your paycheck. That's what it's going to go to, either base housing or to a landlord. So I think that's one thing that I definitely want to make sure that everybody understands. There's if you're active, there's a lot of power in the fact that you're basically being given free money to invest. Like, did you were active when you bought that house? Yeah. So did you pay that $74,000?
Nope. And the craziest part was that I didn't even spend any money out of pocket for that at all. I literally bought that property with zero money out of pocket, because I leveraged understanding how real estate works. The seller, the people who sold me the house, the sellers paid my closing costs.
So you didn't pay not one dime?
Nothing.
Just maintenance.
Beautiful. You know what? I think I paid $200 for a home inspection, and that was it.
Wow.
But me investing $200 made me $74,000. So I think that's a pretty good trade, right?
Absolutely.
Sign me up for that. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody knew that. So before you moved on.
And I mean, and that's the thing too. When you look at it, whether you're active duty or not, you are still having to pay for shelter, no matter what, right? You're gonna have to live somewhere. So housing taxes and housing expenses are the things that you can bet your bottom dollar that will have to happen monthly, right? But now, kind of getting to the whole thing about the VA home loan benefit, how it all works, right? And talking about some of the myths. People think that there's a limit, and as I mentioned before, there is none. Okay, the limit is really going to be set by you and whatever it is that you can afford. So again, there is no VA home loan limit. Okay, what you can afford, right? Your financial profile will ultimately set your limit on what it is that you can get a loan for.
Absolutely.
Okay. What a lot of people don't know, and that recently has caught a lot of traction, and a lot of people are interested in it, and a lot of people are going back and forth on this, because even though it's not a new thing, right? with social media, a lot of people are getting more exposure behind this product, right? Which is you having the ability to build a property with your VA home loan. Okay, traditionally you're looking at, you have to go and you have to buy land, right? So you go and you take out a land loan for that. Then you have to go and you have to get a loan for the construction. Okay, so that's the construction loan. Then you have, once everything is built and everything else, you do the construction to permanent loan that rolls both loans into one. But again, as you're going through this process, you are shelling out money, right, throughout all of it, because now you have multiple mortgages that you're liable for throughout that process. The VA home loan one-time close product allows you to be able to do all of that in one, meaning that still the benefit of zero money down, you can purchase land, you can build on it and do everything else, and then you don't start making any sort of payments on that property until you've moved in and you've attained what's called the certificate of occupancy. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. So if you are being told that you cannot build with your VA home loan, okay, it just means that a lot of the professionals that you're talking to, it's not something that they offer you. So because they aren't offering it, they're going to tell you that it can't be done. It can't be done, just not with them.
Absolutely.
But luckily we can, right? But you guys, I'm telling you, at the end of this, you guys are going to be able to connect with us, and we're going to be able to walk you through all this right here and really kind of give you the blueprint behind it all. Okay, one of the things that a lot of people, wonder about is, can a family member, right, if it's an immediate family member, can they use my VA home loan entitlement? Okay, and realistically, the short answer is no, they can't use it themselves, but they can use it with you as that veteran. Now, there are some stipulations that go behind it, but again, we just need to understand that the VA home loan benefit itself, right, it's designed and intended for use primarily by that veteran for him to go and purchase a primary residence that they intend to occupy. Okay, there are stipulations though, and you're hearing it from us now, right, that will allow you to be able to use that and have non-veterans, right, partner up with that veteran to be able to tap into that VA home loan entitlement. And we're going to get into some of that stuff here. Okay, now this is the thing where a lot of people ask, well, hey Bruno, hey Constance, Anthony, you guys are telling me about investing. Well, so can you use the VA home loan for an investment, right? So it's a yes or no thing, okay? The black and white answer is that no, the VA home loan entitlement is not a product that is designed strictly for investments. What we are showing you guys are ways that you can take this product and show you how it is that you can use it for what it's intended for, and you ultimately turn the properties that you acquire into investment properties. So while this is not for investment, there are ways that you can invest with it, right? Because really it's just a matter of understanding how it is that you're applying your resources and what it is that you're putting into.
Absolutely. And it's about being strategic with the guidelines. It's understanding how it works to stay within the guidelines, but also then to accomplish two tasks. That's one, to create and invest in some shelter that everyone, like we've agreed, you have to have. You're going to have a place to live. And then what can you do to change that and turn that into an investment? And then that can be your springboard for future homes that you purchase, just like what I've done, what Anthony has done. And so that's what we're going to dig into some of those options a little bit later in the presentation. But when people ask, hey, can you use it for an investment? Well, I know someone who bought their home with a VA loan and now they have renters in it. Well, how did they do that? They did it because they occupied the property at one point in time. And there actually is not a required amount of time that you have to occupy the property. There's circumstances that we all know with active duty, you could, at the drop of a dime, you could change, orders can change, and you may have just purchased your home. I know we've encountered that several times. And so in our ability to help you develop strategies that keep you, well protected, your investment protected, your finances protected, especially if you're active duty and things may be a little uncertain, you still can absolutely invest. And sometimes, the more duty stations you have ahead of you, the greater your portfolio can be. And so, we can definitely help you with that.
And that's the thing that people just really need to understand, right? There's a reason why when we're kids, we are introduced to the game Monopoly, right? At the end of the day, right, as we all know, right, the person that wins, okay, is whoever it is that owns the most amount of places on the board. Okay, so whoever owns the most amount of places on the board is ultimately going to be the winner for that. Okay, so this is a really, really big and a super popular thing, right? Everyone thinks that there is a minimum credit score, right? A lot of times, right, and it's crazy because you are not able to qualify yourself for a loan. Right. You cannot qualify yourself and approve yourself for the loan. So why is it that you will disqualify yourself from the loan? Okay, but again, what you need to understand is that there is no minimum credit score for the loan, right? And then there's a thing that Constance is going to talk about later on. It's talking about overlays and how they works and stuff like that. We are here to give you guys the guidelines, the black and white about what the VA handbook says, right, for you to understand. So now, if you go to somebody who says, well, you know what, hey, if you have a 600 credit FICO score, I can't help you. It's just that. They can't help you. But that is right there what I'll tell you is one of the biggest red flags. If they're not willing to turn around and say, okay, well, you know what, guys, right now, this is where you are. This is where it is that you should be because it's the most beneficial thing for you. Let me walk you through the way and show you the steps on what it is that you need to do. Okay, a lot of people don't want to do that because it requires work. It requires effort that a lot of people don't want to put into because of time. They're worried about catching somebody who's easy, who they can, easily pre-approve, instead of working with them and say, okay, this is where you are, this is where we want to be, and these are the things they need to do. But the bottom line of the takeaway that I want you guys to have is that there is no minimum credit score, minimum credit score per the VA. Okay, now. These are the things that we are going to be giving to you guys that are going to really put a spin on things, okay, to really get people thinking outside of the box, right? And we said, okay, hey, look, the VA home loan isn't designed for an investment, but, right, we're going to show you how it is that you can invest with it and how you're able to go and purchase multi-unit properties, multi-family units that you can purchase, okay? So now, if you're a one veteran, okay, you yourself, you can buy up to 5 units, okay? Yes, that is what I said. And I know some of you guys are like, well, hold on a second. No. It's 4, right? Because if you go, over to 5, it becomes commercial real estate. Guys, stick with me and listen to what I'm telling you. It's 5 units, okay? Now, all you need to do is owner occupy one of the units, okay? One of the units. That's going to leave you with 4 remaining properties or 4 remaining units within that property, okay? And I'm talking about whether it's a building, whether it's, one structure that has different units to it, okay? And every unit may have 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 3 bedroom, 2 baths. Again, one structure that has different units to them. You as a veteran needs to owner occupy one of them. Now the other 3 properties, okay, of the 4, those can be rented to residential. So you can go and you can rent it to somebody else out, to rent it out to somebody else, somebody that has a social security number that is going to be signing that lease agreement. Okay, and then the very last one, it can be rented, but it can only be rented to a business. Okay, the biggest thing, and I don't want you guys to kind of spin your wheels too much, right? Again, there are some stipulations that go behind it. There are some challenges, right, that we can help you kind of navigate through. But just stick with me. That very last property, it just needs to be leased to somebody that has an EIN instead of a social security number, instead of an SSN, okay, an employer identification number, okay? So, again, like I mentioned, 5. For one veteran can purchase up to 5 units when we're talking about the multifamily space. Now, what if you and another veteran want to partner? So, for example, Anthony and I want to partner. Now, we can't be married, right? But Anthony and I, okay, I'm a veteran, he's a veteran, and I'm going to say, okay, well, you know what, Anthony? Let's go and buy something else. We can buy up a unit, or I'm sorry, a property that has up to 7 units, okay? The concept is just how I explained it for the one veteran, except that it has more units, okay? I have to owner occupy one of them. Anthony would have to owner occupy the second one. Now we can go and we can rent out 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, okay? Residential to anybody with a social security number. And then the very last one has to be rented out to a business, somebody with an EIN. Why would you ever want to do that? Okay, well, the reason why is because the appreciation. Remember when we were talking about equity? Remember when we were talking about appreciation? Okay, a property that has 7 units will appreciate significantly more, in theory, right, than than a single family residence, than a duplex. So again, remember what we talked about, right? We said whoever owns the most pieces on the board is ultimately going to be the winner. So it's on you for you to buy as many properties as possible and leverage, right, the things that you have available to you. As Anthony and I are living in this, right, and we're each in one unit, the rent for these, the goal is going to be getting the rent that everybody else is paying to cover the mortgage on that entire property that we have, right? And then eventually we get to a point, right, that we can go and we can start cash flowing on that, right? Because remember, as you're making the payments, the balance, the principal balance of your loan continues to go down. Then when you connect with Constance and with Anthony and they start talking to you about the options that you have to do a refinance, to pull money out, right? Things like Constance is going to go over with you guys in detail, right? That is when you start being exposed to the different methods for you to really leverage that entitlement to think outside of the box and not just, purchase a single family residence.
What you just said was great, was leverage. What multi-units allow you to do is leverage. You're able to leverage all those units to pay your mortgage. You're also, what a lot of people don't know, you're able to use the expected rents if those units aren't rented at the time that you go to purchase as income, which will allow you to qualify for that much more to really get into the multi-unit space. So like what you said is if you and Anthony got together, you combined your income, that'll give you X amount of buying power, but then all of those other units' expected rents will give you that much more buying power, because I know some people think, well, how in the world am I going to be able to afford a multi-unit? Well, it's not just based on your income. It's not even just based on your BAH and those combinations. When you get into the multi-unit space, you're able to take advantage, leverage those other rental and monetary opportunities to qualify. And so I just definitely want to make sure you guys knew that, because a lot of people don't understand that, so they can't even get their minds to think about that. So hopefully that helps you in that space.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the challenges, that a lot of people will bring up, and it'll ultimately lead them not to take an action, because they're always so focused on the challenges, right? Before they even become the challenger, before they even hit the crossroads where they have to find a way to get over that hurdle, they'll go and they'll say, well, we can't go and do that because we're going to have zoning restrictions and zoning challenges behind it. Guys, don't worry about it. This is why you have professionals that are going to be in your corner, that are going to be able to help navigate you through, right, and get over those things to allow you to be able to purchase these things in a manner that you want to do, right? And then the last thing that I'll kind of hit, okay, when we're talking about myths, right, is a lot of people think that you can only use your entitlement once, right? And I'm here to tell you that that is not factual, okay? You are very able, okay, we are here located in Southern California. It is very easy for you to go and buy a property in Riverside County, Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee area. And then after some time, whether it's, your family expands or, things change. Your taste may change. Your requirements may change, right? And now you want to upgrade and you want to go and you want to buy something bigger. You can. So you can go and you can buy a property here in Riverside County, and then you can turn around and you still have remaining entitlement for you to tap into to still be able to buy a property here in San Diego County. Now, again, there's always going to be some stipulations there. The ultimate goal is for you to be able to buy one property zero money down, buy another property zero money down. And I'm telling you, you guys are hearing it from our mouths to your ears that it is possible and it can be done if you have the right team with you to be able to kind of walk you through how to do that, okay? And Constance is going to go into it right now, right, on this very next slide, right, as we transition. And she's going to give you the nuts and bolts behind that benefit.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bruno. You so eloquently gave us all those examples. That was so wonderful. Getting into the nuances of the VA loan, I know we kind of tapped into what you can do with it, but I want to kind of understand what really is the VA loan. Why does this entitlement set you apart from a civilian individual who doesn't have this benefit? Well, the big thing is that it is zero money down. We're just talking about the down payment. So you do not have a down payment. VA, 100% financing. Now there is what we call a funding fee. That funding fee is financed, and that allows the VA to insure 25% of whatever that amount that you can afford. This is the VA's basically fee for, giving you the 100% to protect their risk in the case there is a default. And so they use a pot of dollars that they share amongst all the veterans to minimize the risk for the banks. And so because it's insured, it also allows you to have lower interest rates. Typically, your government rates, VA or even FHA, will give you better rates than your standard conventional. So not only are you not having to pay mortgage insurance because you're borrowing above 80% of the loan to value, but you're also getting a lower interest rate. So that overall is going to create, out of all the loan products that are available out there, you're going to have the lowest opportunity for payment. No mortgage insurance. That is an amazing benefit because actually mortgage insurance is not a tax write-off. So it's just a fee that kind of just goes out there to, again, protect the investor for allowing, for lending such a high loan to value rate with minimal down payment. And you'll find that with any loan that is above 80% loan to value. So basically meaning if you don't put 20% down, there's a high probability that you will have mortgage insurance. No minimum FICO requirement. That's huge. That is the basic VA guideline. There's no minimum FICO. So VA has the most generous and lenient underwriting guidelines out of all of the loan products that are out there. Now, the one thing people usually run into trouble, well, I thought I had to have a 620. I thought I had to have a 640 credit score. Those are what we call our overlays, right? Those are overlays, and I'm going to, talk about that too in, some slides to come, but the overlays are really what's going to get you. And that's where some of your bigger banks that do have a standard, and they have their standard, they want to mitigate their risk, but that is not what the VA offers you. So you want to make sure that you're getting with the right mortgage professional that allows you to have all of the benefits that the VA has to offer when they're getting you qualified. I don't know how many people come to me so discouraged because someone told them something, and then that's just it's not the truth. It's like, wait, hold on, let me look. Okay, we can do this. Or like Bruno also mentioned, is that we really do pride ourselves in not turning anyone away. If you're not ready today, then we have so many tools to help you get ready. And I can't stress to you, if you're on this call, if you're on this, this video right now, and you're like, well, I don't want to buy for another year. Well, you're right on time. It is always better to be prepared because you don't ever know what may be, in your credit history or in your profile that we may need to work on. Or if you do know, hey, I've had some slow pays. Again, especially if you're active duty, the VA does understand if there's a couple of lates here because of maybe deployments, things like that we can assist you with still getting you across the finish line. Now, another great opportunity with the VA loan is the interest rate reduction loan, the IRRL. So in times like this where interest rates are, on the higher side than what they were, expected to hopefully float down by the end of the year, then even if you purchase now, then you could in 6 months, 210 days, it's about 7 months after you move into the house, you can do an interest rate reduction loan, which is a very simple process. It's not full documentation, very minimal, just to lower the interest rate. That is it. And so that's a huge benefit because, I can tell you, especially currently where inventory has been very slim, we don't see inventory really becoming adequate within the next 2 years. That's what they're speculating. It's going to take us about 2 years or more to get the inventory levels back to, what we consider to be healthy levels. You're going to see those home prices continue to creep up. And so you can't, I know many people say, I'm going to wait till the interest rate goes down. Well, the interest rate may go down, but then that same house may be up $20,000 by the time you decide to pull the trigger. So we always tell everyone that you are, married to the home and not the rate. The rate is going to fluctuate, and you can change. So, that's one great option with the IRRL program. And then you also have, this is a huge benefit, especially like if you want to build your investment portfolio, you can take up to 100% cash out. That means they're willing to. So once you get that equity, you can cash out up to 100%. There's no other loan out there that will permit that. And so that's great. So if you're leveraging your equity, you want to stay in that VA, or let's just say you want to use that VA multiple times and you don't have enough entitlement to cover the whole 100% on that next purchase. You could, if you have enough equity, you could easily cash out, use that as the required down payment on that, that next VA loan. and, continue to build your portfolio. There's so many dynamic things and strategies and how you can use and finesse the VA loan that I tell you, you got to open your mind and, talk to people who've done it and have the strategies, and the history behind them to make it all happen.
And it's like one of the things that we talked about when we opened up the slide, that we showed people how much money I was able to make, or how much I was able to profit from selling that property, which was an incredible mistake. You guys are going to hear why it was a mistake, right? And it's not many places that you're going to go to where someone's going to tell you, I made $74,000 and it was a mistake.
Absolutely.
But it's a thing where, looking at the stuff that you just mentioned, where you're able to pull that money out, still keep the property, and now you can turn around and use that money to go and acquire something else. So when we're talking about the thinking outside of the box, thinking like an investor, right? Again, the name of the game is buy as many pieces as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, so going into some other eligibility items. So we talked about overlays and how important those are, to watch out for those, and why other banks do have those, and that is not the VA requirement. So if you have a lender that, hey, you need to ask them, hey, do you have any overlays? That's the question you need to ask them. If they tell you they have a minimum FICO of anything, they have an overlay. Okay? So, and then you might need to continue to, and that should be before you even give a loan application, social security number, name, do you have overlays? Because then if you need to go shop to another lender, right? So that's probably the first question, best question I can give you if you're shopping out there for lenders, is to ask that question first. Debt to income ratio. Now this is a very, very important part of the qualifying process, is how much debt, including the new home payment, to income. We do look at that, and that is a factor that is kind of fluid depending upon your financial situation. Typically, the higher the credit score, the higher the debt to income ratio that's available, which can affect your buying power. So when you get with that loan professional and they start to work through things, and they may say, hey, I need to pay this debt down here, or we may need to tweak a few things, then that's where the debt to income ratio concept comes into play. Another reason why you do, even though we can go very low on the FICO, your FICO will impact your interest rate. So the lower the FICO, the higher the interest rate. The higher the FICO, the lower the interest rate, or the lower cost of the interest rate. So the overall expense to it. So FICO is important, but it should not stop you from moving forward with home ownership. Because like I said, even with the IRRRL, guess what? If you get into the house, you get that credit score up, you do the IRRRL, then you get that good interest rate, right? But you didn't sacrifice the time of waiting until you got all those things together, and then that home price potentially could have crept up. So these are just some little tricks I want to throw in there. As I said, start the process early. Being prepared is better to make the process a lot smoother for you. A few bumps. This is probably the most intrusive process financially, but the best, because our clients tell us, yes, they love their home, but guess what? They also love having more money in their bank account. They love that we went through this process to help them refine maybe some of their bad spending habits, and realigning them and educating them on how they can still make the same money, but using it better to then make the money. So I love that part of the whole process, really better than even getting them to the house, because that's truly, truly long-term education and impact. VA guidelines when it comes to condos, it is important to make sure that condo is condo approved. Not every condo out there is. That typically is for any type of legal issues that may affect the condo association itself. So if you're looking at condos, definitely make sure that they are approved. And after all, the whole intent of the VA loan is for the intent to occupy at your primary residence at some point in time. Oh, and then one last thing that I do want to talk about is the appraisal. We're going to kind of go into that when it comes to the cost structure, but VA actually will protect you. All of the VA appraisers have the most education and time in the appraisal field. They have to do additional required hours and have additional experience to even appraise a VA loan or VA home or prospective home. So there are so many areas that you are protected. Your investment are protected, because it's a big deal going into a house. You don't, all you know is that you like it. right? You don't know all the other things, and we'll go into some of the other inspections that you have available to you that will protect you. But that's why there is some stopgaps, because you have to remember the VA is willing to lend 100%. If anything goes wrong with this house, then they are going to take a loss, and they don't want to do that. Absolutely. So there are definitely safety precautions, specifically with the VA home loan benefit, that will protect you as a buyer. All right, so I want to go over this quickly. VA loan eligibility, who is eligible, and when does that happen? Well, your certificate of eligibility will determine your eligibility and show us, either I'm fully eligible, I've never used it, or it'll also tell us how much entitlement you do have left if you're looking to use it a second time. You can get this for free. Don't let anybody charge you for it. You can actually get it yourself. But it's helpful with us as a lending professional can get it for you quickly and be able to analyze it, because there's a lot of stuff on there that you probably won't understand. But I've seen it. If anybody tries to charge you for it, run. Okay? It costs $0. Time in service, all you need is 90 days post boot camp. So 90 days post boot camp, you're eligible for a VA loan. And then if you're in the reserves, you need 6 years and fully active in the reserves. But if you are activated under active duty orders, many times that can speed up that process. There is a point system. So if you are in the reserves, I would say reach out to us, reach out to a lender who is able to help you in this space, so we can see how much eligibility you have in terms of points, and then how many points you may need. So it may not be the whole 6 years if you were activated. It could be shortened, or you may instantly, because of the time that you were active, 90 days at least, then you would have your full entitlement, and you could have been in the reserves. I have a client, he specifically required, he was intentional. He was intentional. He specifically wanted to go active. I think he was like right after he had finished his reserve entry process, so he could then have his full benefit and didn't have to wait the 6 years. Yes. So there's a lot of different ways to obtain that depending upon where you are in your service process. Okay, so if you have for veterans, any veteran, as long as you have your certificate of eligibility, will be able to occupy and get approved for the VA loan. So you have veteran. You have your veteran and spouse. So as long as you're married and say your spouse is not a veteran, then he or she can go on the loan with you, and you guys can go on the loan. Income can be used with zero money down. You then have veteran and veteran spouse and a veteran who also is your spouse, which is awesome because you have then two full unlimited. I know that you and Sasha have that. Absolutely. And I know that you guys have really maximized that. So you have two opportunities that you can then multiply. So it's like having like two legs of investment opportunity. Double. So that's it's huge. I tell you what, it is amazing, and we have seen couples really leverage that to their benefit. Then you also have a veteran and another veteran who aren't married, so they can split their entitlement. So again, if you wanted to utilize, multi-unit options, or let's just say you wanted to go into maybe a bigger property together, or didn't want to just do it on your own, you could with a veteran friend. You guys could buy that home together. It would split your entitlement, and then you would have half of your entitlement to go on and buy another property, both of you. So you guys could go into another property together. So there's a lot of different ways to combine the entitlement eligibility. Then you have a veteran and non-veteran, and that's what we were talking about in the question and answer. Can you buy it with a family member? The answer is yes, but it's yes with a down payment. So that other family member would have to pay 25% of half of the sales price of that property. That would be their down payment. So you may say, ooh, 25% is a lot. Well, if you were going to go conventional and didn't want mortgage insurance, that would be 20% of the whole. Right. So it's 20% of half. It can, depending upon your situation, it can be a viable option, but that is available. And then widows of veterans. So if you're a widow of a veteran and they passed away of any type of service-connected injury or ailment, or were in active, combat at the time that they passed away, then that widow can be eligible for that VA entitlement. So that, again, that is something that we can assist you with by going into the system and, looking at that eligibility is available. So there you go. Those are the basics of the VA loan. We're going to start to get into some strategy and why this is such a awesome opportunity and something that you need to consider if you haven't done it already. And I'll turn it over.
Definitely. So I'm going to talk about owning versus renting. All right. So owning, obviously, we are all homeowners here, and we've all started somewhere, right? We all started renting. On the last slides you've seen, Bruno talked about at the beginning, how you could leverage your BAH, leverage your VA home loan. So we're going to talk about, maybe your current situation now. So if you're renting, no equity, nothing to show for, right? So rent increases is not in your control. So let's take a look at that graph at the bottom. You'll see the line trending upwards over the years represents rent, right? And then the line staying stagnant is your mortgage. So rent increases over time, the mortgage stays flat. Unless you refinance, do some cash outs. It just depends on what's going on, but what you're going to pay in the future, right? And BH goes up as well too. So why not keep that in your pocket instead of someone else taking it from you? If you own, fixed monthly expenses as mentioned, tax breaks, home improvements, you put money in your pocket. If you were renting, the landlord gets the tax breaks, not you. You can decorate however you want when you own, and if you rented, you need permission for alterations. So if you wanted to paint the house, or you have to get permission if you're renting. If you own the home, you could add a bedroom. If you're in an HOA community, you may have to get permission for certain things, but otherwise, you have control over the situation. Also, you get the equity, right? It's your home, it's yours. All that money, the increase over time in value, that word you learned on the first couple slides with Bruno, equity, it's all yours. So that's one of the things we love about being homeowners is the equity, okay? You can leverage that in so many ways.
Ugly already when you said that word.
Right, so homes appreciate over time and that equity is yours, okay? And if you rent it, of course, it's not yours. You're paying somebody else's mortgage, you're losing over time and they're gaining, all right? I'm gonna go into the different types of properties you can use for the VA loan. All right, so biggest thing, single family homes. Those are the homes, those are the detached homes or detached houses that are out there. You may find units in a planned unit development or a townhome. Nothing wrong with those. There's some photos there. Also, you can use the VA loan for condos. So condos are more like apartment style. There's even detached condos that look like little homes that kind of share yards, but they have to be VA approved, and also townhomes as well. And if they're not VA approved, there's a process to make that happen, and we've done that as well.
And it's very simple. As long as the community has the proper credentials, then we can get it approved.
Definitely. And you could also use the VA home loan for manufactured homes. So a lot of folks don't know that, but it does need to be on a permanent foundation. Okay, so if there is a space rent, you wouldn't be able to use your VA entitlement for that. But also, and then 2 to 4 units, up to a 5 unit with the business unit, as Bruno mentioned previously. So these are all the different types of property types you could use. No matter where you are, in the United States, there's obviously different types of homes, but you just figure out what's best for you in your situation and go after using your VA entitlement.
I do get a question sometimes often about like farms and can you buy a farm and how does that work, and land if it has that. And just to answer that question really quick is that you can buy if it's a house on the farm, but the only thing that the VA will finance is the home. The home and the land. However, they will not include any of the equipment or any animals or any of the other assets that may come along with the farm. So I do get that from time to time. So I just think we would answer it for you in advance.
Absolutely, thank you. And so how much do I need? So that's usually the biggest question we get as real estate agents. What do I need to get started? You're going to start with an earnest money deposit. Okay, so when you find that home, you're out looking at homes with Bruno, and you see a $700,000 house, and you may put $3,500 down to get the deal started. That money can come back to you or go towards your closing costs, unless you back out and there's some contingency periods in there. But you just need to have money for that. So discuss that with your real estate agent. Home inspection. So home inspections range from $300, $500, $600. Just depends on where you are in the world. And the home inspection is very, very important, not to be skipped over at all because, and we'll go into that as well. But home inspections are key. Appraisals. The VA is coming out to do the appraisal. This also could be rolled into closing costs, depending on the lender. So usually folks don't see this up front or anything like that, but it costs upwards of $750. And then closing costs. So approximately 2.2 to 2.6% of the purchase price will include closing costs. And that's your prepaid taxes, prepaid insurance, your homeowner's insurance, and escrow, title fees, all those fees that go along with purchasing a home. There's about 22 people that get involved in the escrow process. And so, there's different fees that go to those organizations.
That's the county.
The county, everybody gets their cut. So, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about picking a realtor. What to look for? Look for somebody that looks like Bruno. Someone that looks like myself, right? Someone that's relatable. Someone that knows what they're doing. Someone that knows about the VA loan. Okay. So, make sure they understand your priorities. Interview them. See if they know what you're, maybe they've been in your situation like we have. Make sure they're reputable. Everybody has Google reviews. You can look them up. Maybe a peer had used them. Not afraid to negotiate. All right. So, in the real estate business, we have to negotiate. That's just a requirement. If they're super nice and just, you don't see them like they wouldn't hurt an ant, like maybe they're not your friend. I squash ants. Okay. So like, so you
be diplomatic. Sometimes that gets you over the hump.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But I'm just saying, you look for a bulldog. But speak to their past clients and able to connect you with the lender. So a lot of times those real estate professionals will help you look for a lender. If you look at the right side there, how to pick a lender, what to look for. So check with the realtor first. Make sure they're right for your situation. Again, familiar with the VA home loan, right? And then they're good at communicating. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of terms. A lot of things you hadn't seen before as you go through the process. So make sure that person's able to communicate all the different, things that come across to you. And if you don't understand, make sure you reach back out or ask for another professional. Understand your schedule, okay? So I can say some banks, I won't say it here, that, you won't get a hold of them on Saturday or Sunday. And that's when you're looking at homes. I know we look at homes in the evening. Especially being military, in the evening after work, on the weekends. So very, very important that lender is available when you have the question. Absolutely. Because when I want that monthly payment, I want to know that monthly payment.
Yeah,
So
or that pre-qual
Right.
letter. Yeah, because it can make or break, whether you get that deal in, the offer in on time or not.
Absolutely. So you want, it has to, and they have to flow with your, so usually a realtor knows what lenders are good, work hand in hand. And also has transparency, okay? So there should be no secrets. This is your financial future. This is the most intrusive process you're ever going to go through. So they should be very, very transparent. They should be very honest and upfront with you. And make sure they have a VA track record, okay? And, it's okay to, assume, but make sure you verify. Yeah. It's one thing to say I do VA loans. It's another to show proof that, hey, I sold these houses and this is what I do. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Bruno.
Cool, guys. So the thing that I do want to mention, right, as we transition to this very next slide, we're going to talk to you a little bit about what the buyer roadmap looks like and what it is that you can expect. Okay, the very first step is going to be meeting with the real estate professional. Okay, that's meeting with the real estate agent, even meeting with that lender, right? Getting to know them, because a lot of it has to do with you doing your due diligence, as Anthony mentioned, right? Looking at the reviews, right? And the thing that we talk about all the time whenever we teach these classes, I go and I ask you, if you're gonna go buy a foot spa on Amazon, what's the first thing that you do?
Go to the reviews.
You go to the reviews and you start looking to see, well, how many stars are there? And, what are people saying about this foot spa, right? Because I want to make sure that my toes are, nice and comfortable, right? But now, aren't you worried about the comfort of your family, yourself,
absolutely,
how it is that you're going to be, your finances? And I'm telling you, people overlook this all the time by not doing the things that Anthony mentioned on the last slides about, between picking the realtor and picking that lender, and they have to sync. Timing is everything. Sometimes it may take that lender to be able to do something at 8:30 p.m., okay? 20:30 for us military folks, right? At night, to say, okay, holy crap, I understand the market where we're at, and you know what? Getting this offer and this contract drafted right now is incredibly important, so I can beat somebody else out. Now, are they willing to go and check their phone, right, their personal cell phone, to be able to respond to you, or do you have to wait until the next business day when they open at 9 a.m. Okay. So the very first step is that, guys, is ultimately meeting with the real estate professional, meeting with the lender, okay? Then the very next step is one of the most important steps, and that's going to be when you get pre-approved. I'm telling you, you do not want to go looking until you are pre-approved, okay? What that's going to do, it's going to ultimately set the boundaries for you, what it is that you can afford based off of your financial profile, okay? that realtor, okay, that real estate agent and the lender, they should be talking to you about your personal budget, okay? Yeah. Even though you can get pre-approved for $900,000, it does not mean that purchasing a $900,000 home is conducive for your goals. So again, there is some homework that you have to do, right? It's you figuring out where your budget is, but you shouldn't do it alone. That real estate agent and that lender should help you do it. But once you get pre-approved, that should open up the floodgates for you guys to be able to, take that step out there and start looking at the homes in person. You're gonna do the search for the homes, and you're gonna be trying to see, okay, do the homes align with the goals that we have? Because again, if you guys pay attention, okay, the very top of the screen to the top right, you're gonna see a little thing that says patience is key, okay? You don't wanna rush it, okay? Patience is key, okay? But you're looking at things through the investor's lens. The perspective that you have is as an investor. You wanna make sure that the home, right, is going to appreciate at a certain rate, right? Because again, every market is different. So you are considering some of the external factors. Is there a good school around? Anthony, you have kids, right? So
for sure.
Why would it matter to you, right, that there's a school nearby that is of some worthy caliber?
Right.
Why?
Oh, because education's everything, right? And so people buy homes in areas just for particular schools.
Absolutely.
I can name them off the top of my head in my area, but yes, for sure.
And I'm telling you, so as you purchase a property, give yourself options. Don't make it to where you have to sell the home, right? Ideally, remember, we want to buy, we want to acquire as many pieces on the board as possible, buy it and then turn around and then rent it out. People are going to want to rent in places where, I can send my kids to, because that is at the very top of my personal priority is where are my kids going to go to school. So those are some things that you want to take into account. Am I worried about the countertops? Not as much as I'm worried about the location of the school.
Absolutely.
Right? Because those are things that I can go and I can change. Now, you have to go into this thing with a certain level of expectation, right? And it has to be shaped, because if you've never done this before, it's okay. But somebody should be coaching you through the process so you know what it is that you're looking for. Okay? Once you guys go and then you have the little boxes that you're kind of setting for yourself on the must-have, the nice-haves, and then you're able to check them, you're going to go ahead and you're going to make an offer. You're going to submit an offer of the home. Only because you like it doesn't mean that you're going to get the house, guys. Okay? If it's a really nice house and it has everything that you're searching, there's a very good chance that it meets the needs of another family.
Absolutely.
Okay? So why is it important for you to be able to get a hold of your lender at 8 p.m., right? It's because if it's a very hot property and it's competitive, you may need to get that offer in there right away to beat somebody else out.
Yeah,
okay?
or get your lender on the phone with the listing agent to, let them know that you're a strong buyer and all the attributes. Because I know I do that all the time, and a lot of times just even, giving that listing agent the confidence of not only my buyer, but, my ability, it wins deals a lot.
Yeah, and actually I will, as a listing agent, I will not accept an offer if I haven't talked to the real estate agent and the lender, period. I just won't.
Yeah.
And some won't answer the phone, so I won't accept those offers.
Absolutely. And that goes right into the next step when we're talking about the whole negotiation piece. The negotiation starts, right, before the offer gets accepted. The negotiation starts with the real estate agent reaching out, talking to people, getting everybody connected, right, having, right, lenders that understand the VA home loan. Do you guys remember that early on we were talking about how the majority of our peers and the people that are in the industry, they focus on the 97%, right? The 97% of non-veterans, okay? So there is a very good chance that that professional doesn't really understand VA. So because they don't know something, right, they become hesitant.
Right.
People fear what they don't know or understand. So it's on that professional, the team of professionals, to help educate that other real estate professional so that I can say, hey, hold on a second. Let me tell you why this offer is advantageous. Let me tell you why, right? Don't worry about the appraisal. As Constance mentioned, right, the VA appraiser has significantly more experience, in majority of times than somebody who doesn't appraise VA properties. Let me tell you how that's beneficial. Let me educate you on the Tidewater Initiative and how that works, okay? We're not going to get into that. Google it, because again, I'm telling you, that's something that will completely blow your minds away. Now, let's say that you guys do decide to work with us, right? You do have Constance and Anthony running point on your loan, right? And because of that, your offer got accepted. So once your offer gets accepted, right, we're not going to be what's considered to be under contract, meaning that that contract is fully executed by all parties, right? And depending on the state, we're going to go into escrow. Some states are lawyer states. Some states have what's called, an escrow company, which is, in essence, right, whether it's lawyer or escrow, what you need to understand is it's a neutral third party, right, that their job is to mediate the transaction. They have specific duties, right? They don't represent the buyer or the seller, but they're there as mediators, kind of like a referee if you're looking at a basketball game, okay? Throughout that process, okay, over the next 30 days, 17 days, 21 days, however long that's going to be before you close, okay, that's when all the final details are going to start getting worked on, okay? You guys are going to get the most amount of emails that you have ever gotten in your lives.
Absolutely.
Okay, because Anthony will need you to sign this document
right now.
And he will not stop calling you until you sign that document. Okay, and again, and the reason why he's going to do that is because he wants to make sure that he can lock you in for that good rate. He wants to make sure that everything's on the up and up so that we can close on time, so that you can ultimately get the things that you guys are trying to get. Okay, and that is what gets worked out throughout that phase of finalizing on the details, and eventually it's us helping you reach that finish line, which is the closing. Right, is ultimately completing the transaction from beginning to end and making you that homeowner. Okay, the very next slide that we're going to go to as we transition to this is going to be when we start talking to you guys about the common mistakes. Okay, again, where else are you guys able to go and learn about the mistakes? Okay. I'm telling you, we are telling you these mistakes not because we've read them in books. We're telling these mistakes because we've made them ourselves.
We've done some of them.
I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
So again, for those of you that have kids, you guys can really resonate with that, right? Where again, we are trying to help people not make the same mistakes. The reason why I tell my 4-year-old Gabriel not to put the hand on the stove is because I know it's hot. Now, I know he's not going to listen, right? And some of you guys aren't going to listen. And it's okay. Because you're going to turn back around and be like, that guy with the hat, he told me about this. Constance did mention that. Anthony told me specifically not to do this. But you're going to go ahead and you do it anyways. But it's okay. We're going to tell you, hopefully you're able to take it away, right? And prevent yourselves from making some of these mistakes, okay?
And even if you make the mistakes, we will do our best to help you out of them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Damage control is a lot of what we do.
Yes. We do. A lot of it.
Yes. And so, we definitely, if you do make one of the mistakes, we will coach you and we will constantly reiterate, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And, those who pay attention and follow, it makes it just an easier process. You don't want to make it harder for yourselves. And believe you me, like I said, going into the loan process is one of the most intrusive. They will see there's no hiding. There's no thinking, I'm in escrow so I can go buy something because they're not going to see it because they've already pulled my credit. Well, no, there's a monitoring system where they will check just to see if there's any new inquiries. And if so, they're going to verify if any new debt was acquired. And we have unfortunately had some clients who have not listened. And guess what? Their deal did not go through.
Absolutely.
And there was nothing that we could do about it. We did everything that we could. So I just, I beg you, whether you go into the process with us or anyone, listen to you can still apply these same concepts. They matter no matter where you're going to get lending, at least for the mistakes part, for sure. Just listen to Bruno. Do what he says to. Yeah, seriously. It can either make your process an enjoyable one or a difficult one.
And we're not expecting you to remember all of this, okay? You are not the real estate professional, and that's okay. But that is why you want to have a team that understands and can coach you along the way. We've gone over 15 slides so far. I don't expect you to remember everything in every bullet, in the past 15 slides that we've covered. And that's okay? But you're going to have that team that is ultimately going to tell you, right, these are the things that you need to do. You don't need to worry about everything. You just need to worry about the next thing. And then once we get over that hurdle, we're going to kind of, talk you through and everything else. But hopefully you don't make some of these mistakes. Okay. I'm telling you, you do not want to skip out on a home inspection. Okay, you want to make sure that you're able to check some of the things that cost the most amount of money to repair. You want to make sure that what you're purchasing isn't a lemon. You want somebody to come in there that has a little bit more experience than you in checking for the plumbing, the heating, the foundation, the electrical, the air conditioning, the roofing. Those are the big six and some of the things that will ultimately cost you the most amount of money if they go overlooked. Okay, now it's not to say that everything's going to be perfect, but if we are able to find the discrepancies throughout the home inspection, us as your real estate professional, I'm going to make sure that I can include that and ultimately negotiate something for you, because the goal is to get you the property that you want. My goal is to get you the property that you want in the right way and help facilitate whatever hurdles that we come across, we can get over. Okay. The communication that we talked about. Okay. You want to make sure that the communication, guys, it's a two-way street. Okay. We told you guys it's communication, so you want the lender and the real estate agent that is able to communicate with all parties, but it's going to require your effort to be able to communicate so you guys are able to go back and forth. So when Anthony is calling you at 8 p.m. to tell you why it is that he needs you to sign this document, it's important for you to check your phone and to get back to him to say, hey, you know what? I can't sign it right now because of X, Y, and Z, right? Or if you have some questions, ask that question, so then that way you feel more comfortable with the person that you're working with. Okay, if you don't ask the questions, if you aren't able to sign the paperwork in a timely manner, that's ultimately going to create a delay. Okay, so understand, while this team right here is working with you 24/7, right? What is a weekend, right? A weekend, a Saturday for me is a Monday for everybody else. Okay,
absolutely.
Now, only because we operate this way does not mean that the rest of the world operates that way, as you guys are familiar with. Okay, sometimes we may need you to get something signed, and the reason why he's calling you at 8 p.m. Right on Thursday is because it's crucial for him to get that paperwork over to where it needs to get to by Friday for them to process it before everybody goes home for the weekend. Absolutely. Okay, so that delay can cause all sorts of things, but again, it's a common mistake. It happens all the time. It's not going to be the end of the world. If you do all of these things, hopefully you don't, right? Just know that we still got your back and we'll be able to kind of get you over that hurdle. Okay, as Constance mentioned, okay, while you're under the process of getting your loan approved, okay, they are going to be looking at your finances. So this is not the time for you to go and show irresponsible spending. It is not the time for you to have anybody question what it is that you're doing that may not feel somebody comfortable in lending you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And by the way, they've never met you before. Okay. Now, these next two are some of the bullets that I want you guys, if you remember nothing else in the past 15 slides, I need you to remember this. Okay. A lot of times people listen to people that are doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, right? And there's a quote that we just heard this week or last week that it says, if you don't want their life, don't take their advice. Absolutely. Okay. A lot of times it's people that are telling you, right? We have so many naysayers, so many people that try to talk us out of making, taking action and taking that leap of faith and taking the very first step, right? To get educated, to start doing something for ourselves, to help start, creating that generational wealth. Congratulations to you, because the very first step, you took it. So
by being here,
you might have told people, or some people might have told you, well, oh, what are you going to sit through a webinar for? Or you don't need to learn that. Oh, you don't need to do this or that. Again, don't listen to others, okay? So if you look at, majority of millionaires, over 93% of millionaires became millionaires through real estate. So this isn't a, MLM scheme. This isn't some, get rich quick thing, right? It takes patience, it takes commitment, it takes determination, right? And it takes a lot of due diligence on your part. Again, you're gonna have people on your corner to help you through it, but don't listen to the naysayers, okay? If they are incredibly wealthy and they're telling you that they got their wealth by renting, okay, well then listen to what they're doing, okay? Absolutely. Now, the last thing that I wanna say is this, guys, okay? So your best friend, okay, or no, let's say your cousin, okay? Your cousin Dede just got their real estate license. Congratulations to them, right?
Congratulations.
Now, this is what I can guarantee you, okay? So your cousin Day Day passed, they're officially licensed, as of 2 days ago. 2 things that I can guarantee you is this. The first one is that Day Day passed the state exam. Congratulations. If you have a little confetti on this thing, now is the time for us to put it up on the screen. So congratulations to Day Day for passing the exam. That's fact number 1. You know what's fact number 2? Day Day has absolutely, positively zero experience in being a real estate agent. Why? Because they just passed the real estate exam. They don't have the experience to be able to give you, the ins and outs of things. So remember, this is a slide of us talking to you about the common mistakes that you are most likely going to make, one, if not all of them. Is Day Day going to be able to get you over the hurdle because you didn't really take notes when we were talking to you about the common mistakes and you made the mistakes? Are they going to be able to say, okay, well, you know what? They did exactly what they're not supposed to do. Can I get them out of hot water and still be able to get them to home that they fell in love with because it has the best school, right, in the district, right? So that's some of the things that I'll tell you guys becomes so common, things that people do wrong, but it's okay, Because all I need you to do is understand that you have a goal. Okay, the goal is to become a homeowner so that you can leverage that. There's a very next slide that we're hitting right now as we transition. Okay, I'm going to tell you why it is that it's important. And then I'm going to tell you why I made the biggest financial mistake by cashing out and taking $74,000 with a capital T. Okay, so once you guys own the property and you have that, okay, the name of the game is options. You want to be able to do certain things with it. Okay, the reason why it is that, wealth and generational wealth is typically built through real estate is because there are other ways and other things that you can do and other methods. Okay, a popular one is house hacking. Okay, house hacking kind of goes back to what, to some of the stuff that we were talking about before, to where you go and you buy a multi-unit, even if it's a quadplex. You live in one, you rent out 3, and now hopefully the rent from each of the other units, it's ultimately paying for your mortgage. So now, imagine you didn't have a housing expense. Imagine that somebody else is paying for you living there, and even if you're not cash flowing means even if you're not making money on it, theoretically, you still are, because now it's one less expense that you don't have. That's house hacking, guys.
Absolutely. And you're paying down the mortgage. Someone else is doing that you're living in, and you're getting the appreciation all during that same time. So it may not be cash flowing positive, like putting additional money in the bank, but you are definitely getting a return on that investment. It's much better than a savings account that gets almost 0.5%, if that, 0.20, right? Like, so if you really think about your home, you look at it as a piggy bank that you're just making deposits into, or someone is. And if you have, multi renters, then someone else is making those deposits. Another great thing is, even with house hacking, if it's a single family home, you can rent the rooms out. And I mean, we have a lot of clients who they specifically, again, this is going into the purchase with a strategy. So you're going into the purchase almost with your exit strategy, well, not almost, with your exit strategy in mind. So you can make sure that this is going to be a solid investment. Buying a particular floor plan because if you're not going to be here but for 3 years or 4 years, and you want to hold on to the house, and you want to make sure that it's going to, generate you some income or generate appreciation, the equity that you're looking for when you go into it in the beginning. So I just wanted to just throw that in there, is that these strategies are helping you go into the purchase with the exit in mind. Okay.
And a lot of people don't buy with that in mind, because if you go to your average agent and you say, I want to buy a house, they're going to say, okay, well, what do you want? And that's all that's at the forefront. They're going to help you buy a property, and they're not going to talk to you. They're not going to, harp on the, financial literacy to kind of help you expedite your way to wealth, to say, okay, well, let's do it with a strategy. Okay. And this is ultimately what we're talking about, guys. A lot of people don't even know what the BRRRR method is, right? I mean, we see it on memes, we've come across maybe 1 or 2 videos on TikTok, but people aren't really explaining to you. your agent, your lender should be able to explain how it is that it's beneficial for you to go buy a property that may need a little bit of love, right? Then they are talking to you about taking into consideration, right, how much it's going to cost for you to rehab that property. They're talking to you about the things called ARV and after repair value and what it is and why it is that it matters. They're talking to you about, some of the data points that you really want to take into consideration, right? Once you go and you rehab that property, right, you want to go and then rent it out. Rent that property out to have somebody else that's living in the property that's paying that mortgage down and do a refinance and pull that money out. The money that you put in, you can ultimately pull the money out so then you can turn around and do that thing all over again. And that's what that last R is for you to be able to repeat. Okay, again, this is just one other method for you to go about moving forward with that investment strategy so that you know that it's something that you're doing that is going to align with your ultimate goal, the big picture goal, right? Which, as we mentioned, is acquiring all the pieces on the board. Okay, rentals. Something as simple as you buy a single family residence or a condo or anything else, you live in it for some time. Okay, this is probably the most fundamental way for you to invest with your VA loan, right? You go, you live, you pay your mortgage, which is the same thing as you were doing before, but you were just paying Anthony's mortgage because he's renting it to you, right? Now you're paying your mortgage for the time that you're there. Okay, you're taking that BAH, right? That tax-free money that you're applying towards lowering your principal. Okay, and then you move out, and now somebody else is going to move in, and they're going to pay, right? And then what they're paying is now you're taking the money and you're applying towards paying down that principal on your mortgage, and ultimately renting it out. Okay, short-term vacations. So we're talking about Airbnbs, VRBOs, things that have caught a lot of popularity recently. Again, make sure that you get with your professional, and your professional needs to be able to talk to you about all the pros and cons, right? And again, risk, right? That can ultimately talk to you about the risks that come behind each of these strategies. So if you're looking at doing an Airbnb, are you doing it in a location that professional has his ear to the ground? Is he, in communication with the local governing bodies to find out, right? Do they have anything in the works as far as passing any sort of ordinance that is going to restrict you from utilizing that property for an Airbnb? Again, things that you want to be cognizant of, and you want to make sure that your professional is aware of these things. The multi-units that we talked about, the VA one-time closed construction loan. And by the way, did you know that you can use the VA one-time closed construction loan to be able to build a multifamily property? Again, things to think about, right? We also talked about how it is that, Anthony and I, as veterans, can, ultimately go and invest in a property together, okay? Guys, think outside the box, okay? The $74,000 mistake that I made, okay, and the reason why, I made such a mistake, if you guys remember in 2018, I sold that property for $540,000. I thought I hit the jackpot. I didn't have to deploy to get that money. I didn't have to do anything. Now, okay, as of 2022, the end of last year, that property that I sold, and as you can see there, right, it's estimated to be valued at approximately over $800,000. My mortgage for that property was $2,600, and I thought it was the most expensive thing on earth. Right now, that property is renting out for almost $4,000. So, again, this is the value behind purchasing and having everything broken down to you. Have a strategy. I was not explained this at the time. Okay, I had been into real estate, I had been into investing, but you know what? Because I didn't know that I can use my VA multiple times with the same entitlement, I thought that I had to sell that property. And that's why I sold it. Because I was looking at purchasing a bigger property in a location that had a really, really good school. So because my kids were going into high school, I sold it because I thought, well, the only way that I can purchase this with zero money down is by selling this property.
Where you could have refinanced and kept the house into a conventional product.
Made the same mistake.
You had,
I had plenty of equity.
So, and then that was just in 6 years, right? So that was because you bought it in 2016, and this is 2022. 2022?
2022, yeah.
Yeah, so that was just 6 years. I mean, 6 years and a return, that would have been a return of over $300,000, right? And I'm doing that math right? Yeah.
It makes my $74,000 look like chump change, right?
Yeah.
And again, guys, but this is what I'm saying. You don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
Now, everyone that's watching, you don't have an excuse because now you know what's out there,
Right.
but it's going to be on you, right? The question that I will leave you with before I turn it over to Constance, I'm going to ask you this. Now that you got the information, right? Have you heard enough for you to make a decision? Okay? Are you going to go and still stand there and say, "Oh, well, that was a great presentation. I took some notes. Well, what's on Netflix next?" Right?
Right.
Or are you going to say, "Okay, well, you know what? They are talking some things that make sense. Numbers don't lie. We got some examples. We got some screenshots. They use their personal examples and their experience to show how it is that wealth can be generated. Are you going to take action and steps?" Okay? Ask yourself that question. But if you are going to take action, if you are going to take the steps and say, "You know what? I'm going to do something different," Constance is going to tell you how.
Absolutely. So there's going to be a link in the chat area that you'll be able to click on, and you'll be able to access our make an appointment link. And then also you can scan this QR code also, where you can make an appointment. You can leave us a review if you found this information to be super exciting and you want to tell all your friends about it. You want to rate us 5 stars, then it'll have a link for you to leave us a Google review as well. And there's also a section for you to give your feedback. If there's something that you want to share with us, if there's some information, say that you wanted more detail about and why you got on this webinar, we would love to hear that, because we're always adding and upgrading our presentation and the information that we bring to you guys really frequently, because we want to hear from you. So at this point, if you have any particular questions, you can put them in the chat and we'll be glad to answer them. And if you have a very personal situation or something specific, please make an appointment with us. It doesn't hurt you. They're free. We can do a strategy session with you. We can go over, even like I said, if it's a year or even a year or two from now, time goes by very quickly. So, and preparation is truly the key. Preparation is what will make, by the time you really want to get out there and start looking, it'll make that experience a lot smoother. Not to say that you can't say, "Hey, I need to buy a house in 30 days or less," because trust me, in the military world, sometimes we have to make those really, fast movements, or even if we need to help you from a distance as well. We do surface all 50 states. We have a wonderful 10X Vets family, if you've seen that, which is really awesome, where we have, agents and lenders across the country who work just like us, who've been trained by us in order to service you at the highest level. So again, if you have any questions, let's get them in the chat. We'll be glad to answer them, or you can set up an appointment with us and we'll get back with you right away.
All right, let's take some action.
All right, let's see if we have any questions.
Okay, there we go. So we're starting to get some action in there. People are asking some questions. Okay.
We can cut, because we'll be going on. We'll be jumping live. At that point, we will.
Hey. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, when I saw that, go back up.
Oh.
No, but we're going to be jumping in. We're going to be live at that.
Over here doing the.
We just won't be live here. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, he didn't say cut, bro. I'm still staring. I'm still.